defence. Wilco makes a run ahead of it. Bergkamp suddenly changed pace through the centre. It's Bergkamp! That's magnificent! The move, and then this, which left Dabby's ass totally stranded.
Hello, and welcome to Bergkamp Wonderland, an Arsenal podcast. Everyone knows my name. My name is Karl, and with me today is the delightful and joyous Danny, the GFP. Hello, Daniel. How happy are you today?
I'm tickety-boo, over the moon, and I slept for 12 hours, and I'm only here because Chris is on a work meeting, so I'm only meant to be pressing buttons, but it's an absolute joy to be on there with you two. How are you?
Oh, you know all the nice things to say. I am ecstatic after last night. Can't stop smiling, can't stop laughing at the blue side of London, who... It's just funny. It's just funny. Everything that happens to that club is truly deserved. Like, there's nothing good ever going to happen to that club ever again. And I, for one, I'm extremely happy. And also here today, it's the ever optimist, John. Hello, John.
I told you. No one believed me. I said we were going to win. No one would listen. But I called it. Pyramid Pirlo, mate, made the difference.
Yes, I had my doubts about him being, and I do remember you saying in the group, he would just give you a solid 6 or 7 out of 10. Nothing fancy. He just does his job and goes about it. And I was like, yeah, you're kind of right. And even when we was discussing our men of the matches in the group, I said Xhaka, and he was like, and Elneny as well. I was like, yep. Gotta give it to Elneny as well, because he did play marvellous yesterday, which we'll talk about later. Chris is going to join us at some point, but he's doing his hair. He's got like a perm in, and he's got to wash it out. So who knows like what time he'll be with us.
Will he turn up with a towel on his head?
Nothing would surprise me if I'm really, really honest. This is Chris. He'll probably turn up like in a French top with Mbappe is the best on the back, but you know. All nice. We're going to quickly talk about Southampton. I guess we kind of got to, and then we'll get on to the real reason why we're all here. John, Southampton, not the best. Let's be honest. When you saw the team, I'm not going to go over everything because I suppose everyone's spoken about it already. Did you look at that team and think they had enough about them to beat Southampton?
Yeah, I mean, just going back over the lineup, obviously, Lacazette was out, Eddie back in, Nuno got given a chance again. And I thought, okay, we're struggling for goals. We weren't making tons of chances at the moment. But I just thought, we've got enough energy in there. Saka he's just that sort of player that you can just turn it on. Martinelli as well. It meant we had a few more options off the bench, weirdly, just because of the way we were set up. And going into it before the game, I thought, okay, I know Southampton have been pumped, what was it, like 6-0 or something the game before. But I thought we'd give it a go. I wasn't expecting an amazing, 8 out of 10 performance all round, but I was just get the result and see us over the line. What actually happened was Fraser Foster had a 10 out of 10 game and they scored a goal from us switching off, which, I mean, now, looking back on it, at the time I was fucking so annoyed, especially because it's the third game and a loss. But if you go back and look at it now and actually watch the game back, we didn't play horrendous. It's not the worst performance we've done all season. And we actually did create quite a lot of chances, and Foster made some amazing saves in the game. And another day, we probably win that 3-4-1, something like that. And Southampton basically had 2 chances in the game and they scored one of them. And that was it. Other than that, they didn't really threaten us. I know a lot of people sort of had a dig at Arteta for his basketball analogy, I think, afterwards. But I think he's right. If you go back and watch it now and you're sort of separated from the fact and you're on the high from the Chelsea, you're like, oh, actually, yeah, maybe if you do look at this, we weren't as bad as everyone said. But
no, agree. I think.
Yeah, sorry. It's just it's the thing, isn't it? You're like very young teams. You're going to have bumps in the road. It doesn't matter how you can be the best team in the league, and you're going to lose games sometimes. I'm not saying we are that, but it's just the fact it was like after the 2 previous games, and you're like, oh, we're struggling to score goals. Then Lacazette, although he's been playing bad, he's experienced, he's not available. Eddie's coming into the team, and you're like, oh, everyone's got doubts about him and how he's going to perform, how he fucking shut them up in the Chelsea game. So it just puts you on more and more of a downer. And then obviously you're looking ahead past that Southampton game to Chelsea United and everything else. But in the end, you know what? I couldn't give a fuck about losing Southampton. It don't bother me in the least bit, because Thomas Tuchel apparently doesn't know how to look after his own football pitch. What a twat, honestly.
It does make you laugh to some of the excuses that I've seen Chelsea fans say, also saying that they played their B team. Well, they played their best goalkeeper, which is arguably the best goalkeeper in the Premier League, 1 out of 3. The best right back that they've got. Their captain played, Mason Mount. Their £100 million striker. If your £100 million striker is part of your B team, then something is definitely up. But anyway, I don't really want to talk about Southampton anymore. We lost. It was bad. It was a end of a run of 3, like John said. Everyone was down. Everyone was pessimistic going into the game, apart from John. Into the Chelsea game, Danny. Before, you done a preview show, and I heard you say that you thought we was going to lose, so you can't deny that now. But your hopes for the game, did you think definitely we was going to lose, or did you at least think maybe, just maybe, we'd get something out of this?
Absolutely nothing. I was thinking Arsene Wenger's 1000th game all over again. I actually even contemplated not watching the game. And I have, we all know how much I loved Eddie and Nketiah over the years. You go back to the early days of ABW and the under-18s, under-21s, under-23s. I'm going, this bloke, he's just like an Ian Wright kind of figure, where he's someone in the box that is going to poach you goals all the time. And then we saw it against West Brom this season, where it was a hat-trick against West Brom, and a combined total distance of 2.5 inches for all 3 goals. And you think, well, why isn't he doing that? And then I looked at the stats, and I gave a cheeky, happy 1-year anniversary team. Didn't really get him a card because it's 1 year and 2 days since he last scored a Premier League goal. But then I gave that a little bit of context and said, well, he's only had 190 minutes. He's only actually played 330 minutes of Premier League football, which is, we all know we can do our 90 times table. That's 3.5 games of Premier League football in a year. And just like the rest of the people that have come in and struggled, Tavares, Lokonga, all of these people, they come in, and then they've come in with no match time under their belt. And we saw that last night with Big Bob in the first half, really struggled, and with the Egyptian Perlo also not started a game since the 2nd of December for Arsenal, but he did play 5 or 6 games in the AFCON, got to the final and sadly lost, my Egyptian brothers. But I had absolutely no hope for the game at all. And this is what gets beaten into you as an Arsenal fan. You go on that brilliant run, the games against Leicester, the games against Wolves, and you think, you know what? There's a good-looking boy or girl in the bar nowadays. They give me the eye. I think I'm in here. And they come over and do a big poo in your lap and give you a slap around the face and tell you, get realistic, sunshine. You've got no chance, as we saw against Brighton and we saw against Southampton. But there's a stat from those games. We had, obviously, I've scrolled down to get something else. Against Southampton, we had 23 shots. Against Brighton, we had 20. And against Southampton, 6 shots on target. Last night, we only had 4 on target and scored all 4. We only had 14 shots at goal. So that was the only thing keeping me going, Cole, getting back to your point, is the fact we're having so many shots on goal. And like John was saying, that was Fraser Foster's, whatever his name is. That was his game of the season, an 8.51 rating. Only 2 other times this season did he get anywhere near an 8. And then it's just a game of his life. As remember, it always used to say at the Emirates that every goalkeeper comes there and they play like Levi Yashin. I think he was a goalkeeper, or Peter Shilton, or Chris Woods, or any of those people that someone might remember. But I expected nothing, Karl, and I was as giddy as a kitten. How about you?
I was quietly optimistic. I remember came in the preview pod and I was saying that we're gonna nick it, and people were saying
we
that I'm smoking
ridiculed you.
something. You did, like, I don't know why, but it's just so typically Arsenal, isn't it, John? Like, we'd lose 3 games that you think we got to win. We got to beat Southampton. We have to beat Brighton. We have to beat Crystal Palace. And you think, okay, Chelsea's the one that you think we're going to lose because that was our quote-unquote game in hand. And everyone was saying, oh, we're going to lose the game in hand because it's against Chelsea. And then all of a sudden, we turn up and do that sort of performance.
Yeah, I mean, I was talking to my friend and it was before the Southampton game. And we were chatting about it and he said, this is what's going to happen. And like, he never bets on football. He just makes jokes about it and stuff. And I always say to him, you should definitely bet because you always call it. He's like, we'll lose to Southampton. We'll probably beat Chelsea and we'll probably like dominate United, like 95% possession or something. And somehow they'll win 2-0 with only one like shot on target or some nonsense like that. He said, it's just typical Arsenal, that sort of thing. And then he was joking about Spurs losing like every game till the end of the season, or like only beating like Spurs beat Liverpool but lose to everyone else and shit like that. It is just very typical us. I think it's, I mean, it's a trend we've seen for a long time at Arsenal, but it's probably to be more expected with such a young team because so many of those players aren't experienced, and I mean, I'm not a footballer, but I assume as a young player, when you get to play in those big games, you try and up your game because you're so excited about it. It's like, this is why I've like trained all my life as a kid to be able to play in these big matches. And you saw it last night. Eddie, Saka, Tavares, don't get me wrong, he wasn't outstanding, but the manager kept faith with him. He did his job. He helped like set up one of the goals. Made a couple of chances. Ben White isn't that old, really. Hasn't got tons of experience in the Premier League. Gabriel as well, still relatively young. Ramsdale, Smith Rowe. So this team, we are going to suffer with it. But I think the thing is that when I look back through old Arsenal teams, it wasn't unless you go back to like 2007, 2008. Like, that was probably the last team that I actually loved, like really loved the team and backed them and really wanted them to do well. After that, it was like, you might like a player like Alexis or Van Persie or someone, but the team as a whole, you're like, I don't really care about this guy, that guy, that guy. This team and this squad, like, there's players obviously you're going to love more than others. Like, everyone loves Saka or Smith Rowe or Martinelli or whatever. But the whole group, I just love the team. I just want them to do well. And doesn't matter how bad the run of form is, I'm eager to see the next game and see what they can do because they're always going to surprise you. And they did it in this one. And look, there's no denying the first half was a fucking complete clusterfuck from both sides, really. Like, neither team was really on it at the level they should be. But second half, I thought we were way the better team. Looked more likely of scoring a goal. And even when we went sort of super defensive, they just couldn't get through us. And I genuinely big props. I know I'm a big Arteta fan and some people don't like him. That's fine. If you're not a fan of the manager, I get it. But I think he did get a number over on Tuchel with his tactical changes. He didn't know how the team was going to set up and the way they changed throughout the game and everything. Just everything about it was fucking brilliant.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, even from the starting lineup, what I liked was the fluidity because no one knew whether we was playing 3 at the back or whether we was playing a hybrid 4 at the back, whether Ben White was going to play right back, whether Saka was going to play right wing back. And even in the group, we was all speculating as well, like, oh, was it 3 at the back? Is it 5 at the back? Like, no one knew. And I think the fact that we changed mid-game, probably to suit Chelsea, to disrupt Chelsea, I should say. Yeah. That was a good thing. Because I don't think they could handle us. And I don't think they knew when we changed, I think they thought, shit, what's going on here? We kind of need to change as well. But because they couldn't just match us up, and I think that's what kind of got on top of us. And I think the fact that we did it kind of so smoothly as well. Like you said, not everybody had a brilliant game. Tavares, I mean, me and Femi was that, oh, fucking hell, it just frustrated me. But his interception was the reason why we scored our third goal. So, for every thing that he may do wrong, I still think he runs like a headless chicken. He runs into crowds. I don't know why he does that, but but with time, he'll change that. And the fact that he was so athletic, I remember even this, I keep going back to the group, but you were saying, John, he looks like he's a winger and playing up front. And I said, well, not with his passing stats, because his passing, the whole team's passing was kind of atrocious. It really was, especially in the first half as well.
I think like both teams, like if we had a Chelsea fan on here, they'd be saying the same thing. They'd be like, the perfect thing we needed really was a neutral to say, like, I bet you enjoyed watching the game first of all, and they'd be like, yeah, it's fucking amazing. But if you look at the passing stats for the first half of both teams, I bet it's awful. Like, everyone is probably way below the numbers they normally put up, from both first 11s. Like, Holding you can sort of understand because he hasn't played for so long and passing isn't really his strength anyway. Tavares, we know where the issues are there. But there's like people like Odegaard who like obviously grew into the game. Like some of his passes were off. Xhaka, who I know people aren't a huge fan of, but he doesn't genuinely normally give the ball away. He might give it away in a stupid area sometimes, but he's normally quite neat and tidy on his passing. And he was sloppy. Elneny as well is a guy who's generally very safe on the ball, doesn't do anything too flash. And then you had the other side, like people like Mason Mount, Loftus-Cheek, Kante, all players who you normally would think really good, technical, safe on the ball, just making like silly errors. And I think it was the game was played at such a frantic pace in the first half, and both teams really pressing like on each other, like big time. I think that moment where we sort of switched from, it was a back five sort of, and then we switched to a proper back four. And I think that's what threw Chelsea off. And then they didn't really know how to adjust because there was periods in the first half where they were on top, then it was us and it was back and forth. And yeah, I just think in the end, tactically outdid them, but also I just think it was a mentality thing as well. It's like one of those things you can't really measure. Arteta said a really good quote after his game, and you have to take everything with a pinch of salt, whether he said it or not. But he apparently said to the team before the game, if you want to play in the Champions League, you've got to come to places like Stamford Bridge and win. And they went out and they did that. And for all the faults they made, a lot of the players, they all worked their ass off like all game long. And that, as a fan, that's all you want to see from a team. You'll accept mistakes and errors and things like that. But if people actually put a shift in and try, then you'll cheer them all day. And the away fans were fucking amazing. That sounded like a home game, like watching from the TV. That genuinely sounded like a home game.
I mean, it was great, the fact that Chelsea couldn't have more than 25,000 because of their issues that are going on. And as you said, I'm not too sure, but I'm quite sure that Arsenal got more allocation than they would normally get, maybe just to buff out the ground. But maybe that's a mistake from Chelsea, or good, whatever way you look at it, because like you said, you just heard Arsenal fans chanting for the whole entire game, which was absolutely brilliant. And like you said, that's what we need. We need, Arteta said it, the team need to give the fans a reason to chant. And yesterday they did. I mean, away fans are always brilliant no matter where they go. Arsenal, Crystal Palace, I went to the game, but I was sitting in the home side, and the Arsenal fans, even though we were 3-0 down, still didn't stop chanting for the whole game. So they're just absolutely brilliant. And yeah, like you said yesterday, the fans had a reason to chant. The fans had a reason to, when you can, football banter is, as I say, is brilliant, especially when you keep it within the context of football. And yesterday, chanting to say that, the ground's half empty, this is like it used to be before Abramovich came in with the money. I love that. That's absolutely brilliant. And like you said, if the team plays well, the fans will be happy. Even, like you said, I want the team just to put in a performance. When our team loses and we play rubbish, you see it and you kind of like, oh, fuck, this is ridiculous. But when they put in a shift and they lose, you think, all right, you know what, they lost, and I'm not happy that they lost. But a team puts in the performance and you think, right, go again, next game. And that's what you can kind of see I know we shouldn't put a judgment on this, but from Twitter, you see them saying, you know what, we lost, we go again. You know what, we lost, we go again. I looked at Man United versus Liverpool, and Man United fans are pissed off because their team don't look like they want to play. They look like they literally can't be bothered to go out there and play. And Rudy's there. Rudy, I told you yesterday that we was going to win, and you told me I was smoking something, didn't you? I'm waiting for you to come here. Anyway, but yeah, you literally saw. What's that? Yeah, sorry. You want the Man United fans? They just look shell shocked. And that's the reason why I guess Ten Hag was announced today, to try and give them a little bit of a boost. It's kind of like when we lose and we, release a new kit.
Yeah. You got to give the fans something. Like, shit, no, you know what? We lost the game and we didn't look like we put enough effort in. Crack another shirt out, Adidas. Like cheer everyone up.
Didn't they release a new shirt before the game?
Oh, they might have
a new bit of merch.
I've lost track. Honestly, I think we've had more kits than signings in the last 10 years. Honestly, that's amazing. But no, the whole last night was amazing. I was saying to Danny before we started, like I hardly ever drink anymore, and I was like halfway through the second half, I was like, when we were 3-2 up, I was just like, I just knew, I was like, we're gonna win, and there's gonna be more goals. We're gonna score more goals. I don't see Chelsea scoring again. I'm like, crack open a beer. Had way too many last night. Feel like absolute shit this morning. Still slightly recovering, but like 100% worth it. I'll be hungover for the next week. Like I'll be hungover for the rest of the season, Arsenal, and feeling dreadful if you just keep doing this till the end of the season. I'll be well happy.
I'll even start taking up drinking a little bit more.
Danny, I want to talk about the first goal quickly. Chelsea were on the attack, and Tavares just absolutely cleared the ball, and it was a foot race between Christensen and Eddie. And Christensen's ahead of Eddie, and the ball's bouncing apparently on their pitch that, they don't like. Eddie Nketiah literally chases down Christensen, doesn't stop, doesn't give up. The ball's bouncing. Christensen tries to play it back to the goalkeeper. It's a really shitty back pass. Eddie races onto it and puts it into the bottom corner. At that point, Danny, how happy were you?
I mean, we can see in the picture there. Just look at what I said last night on the show that is looking at that position. You got the Sarr running at you, and you got one of the best goalkeepers in the league in front of you, and you can be thinking, well, this is Eddie. He hasn't really had much time, but he's also got that thing, because I don't know if they didn't listen to the show last night, I reminded people that he was let go by Chelsea because they said he was too small. And then he said, I think there was a quote saying, I didn't really care because I'm an Arsenal fan, and then I went and signed for Arsenal and then become a goal machine for the youths. And I've always said for so long that I'd actually given up on Eddie. But I said for so long that all he needs is the chances to get in there and do it, because he does it for the England under-23s. He broke, there was someone's record he broke for the under-23s. I can't remember who it was. Might have been Franny Jeffers' record or something crazy like that, or Gary Lineker's record or something like that. But he has got it in him. But we were saying it's when he plays, it's boys against men, and that he struggles against decent opposition. But he showed it last night, and he was so happy to do it. But at that point there, like the question you're asking, I thought, no, he's not going to do it. But then when he did do it, I went, oh, you fucking dirty bastard! How dare you? Don't prick teasers, Eddie. Don't just do this once and then do nothing again. Don't go full Giroud and then do nothing for the rest of the season. And he didn't let us down, did he, Karl?
No, I mean, we'll probably talk about his performance later on, but I thought he had a very good game. Like, I hate comparing it to like Lacazette, but if Lacazette was on the pitch, we don't score that goal. Just because I don't think Lacazette has the pace to chase Christensen down, and Christensen, I think, has more time to play it back to Mendy. But doesn't, not taking away nothing from Eddie, because he was a great finish. And I don't think anyone can...
to interrupt. It's really clever, like centre forward play as well. Like from the picture Danny showed, it's so easy for him to see Sarr's coming across. I'm going to take a touch of my right foot and keep Sarr on my right-hand side and almost sort of run shoulder to shoulder to him. But he doesn't. He's really intelligent. He knocks it past Sarr and runs across the defender. If Sarr touches him, that's it. Sarr, red card. You're off. You're taking out a player and a goal scorer. So Sarr has either got the choice of, I've got to bring this guy down or just like move out of the way, basically. And then from there, he's still got a lot of work to do. And it's a really, really cool finish. It's probably the furthest out he scored a goal for Arsenal, I think.
I think I saw that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that is. But the other thing I would say is as well, if you actually watch the the bit before that, we're obviously defending Chelsea are attacking. We get the ball, and I think Xhaka plays it back to Tavares to clear it as such. But Tavares actually takes a second and looks for the channel Eddie's in. And it's not like a hit and hope, but he's like, I'm just going to put it in that area. And I'm sure Arteta tells the players, obviously try and keep it and play it out from the back and keep it on the ground. But if you have to clear it, try and make sure there's a runner there. So whoever the forwards are, Martinelli, Eddie, whoever it is, make sure you're available and in that channel where the fullback or the centre back is going to hit it. And he tries to get it down that channel for Eddie to chase onto. And it's not like a perfect pass or anything, but he puts him in a situation where he can pressure Christensen. And all right, we get a bit of luck because Christensen cocked up the pass. But Eddie's still got to work all that time. He's still got to take it across the and he's still got to beat the keeper. And that is a really, really good finish. If you like you said, and this is not me, I don't want to pick on Lacazette because I think he has done really, really well for us this season. His form has dipped. But in his current form, even if you put him in the position where Eddie was when he took the strike on goal, I'm not even convinced Lacazette finishes that. And finishing is his real strength, just because his confidence is so low. Danny made a good point about Eddie sort of, whenever we've seen him before, it's kind of been men versus boys, and he's got maybe the technique and the speed and everything. But he does look like he's bulked up. And pre-season, we saw him in some games, and he was really pressuring people and muscling into defenders, and hold-up play was good. And he just, maybe he needs those run of games. Whether that means he gets a contract or anything like that in the summer, that's, way down the line. You don't do it off of the back of one game. But I'm pleased for him. If it means he plays for the rest of the season, gets some more goals, that's great for us. Whether it means he gets to stay at Arsenal or not, I've got no idea. If it helps him get a contract at another Premier League club in the summer, if we let him go, then, good luck to him. But the one thing with Eddie, every time he's played, ever since he's come into the team, since being a teenager, you never fault his commitment. He always tries. He always keeps going. Whether he'll finish him or not all the time isn't, that he's not been so lucky on. But he will always give you 100%. I have a sneaky feeling maybe he heard Uncle Ian on Arsblog. I don't know if people listen to that. That is the sweariest podcast I think I've ever listened to. Ian Wright on Arsblog's podcasts the other day, he was absolutely losing it, and someone did a super cut of just Ian Wright swearing. It was so good. But yeah, I don't know, maybe Eddie listened to that and he went, you know what, Uncle Ian's, I should listen to him and maybe work a little bit harder. And obviously it's paid off. It's a great goal.
Yeah, I can't fault it. And that's what you want. You want commitment. You want, let's be honest, he's going to leave Arsenal because I don't know if you saw, he done an interview on a podcast and he was saying that, he just wants to play football. Yeah. And people were saying that he doesn't do well, but if he only comes on with 10 minutes to go, what can he show in 10 minutes? And you kind of think, what can you do? I mean, you want to come on and make an impact, but it takes time to get into a game. And you can't just do that with cameo appearances of 10 minutes here, 5 minutes there. It's really hard.
Yeah, it's like the top 1% of the 1% who can do that, just come on in a game and affect it. Those really, really top level elite players. Some players need a run of games to get that match speed up, don't they? But look, the way he's playing, I thought he was decent in the Southampton game as well. He was unlucky. Was it Brighton as well? I think I think he did the same thing the Brighton game. He came on. So look, he looks sharp. I hope he gets the nod for United because there'd be no reason really to not put him in the team. And just keep doing it, Eddie, and just keep pressuring people. Because I tell you, if I'm in that Man United squad and I'm looking at Ralph and I'm going, please, for fuck's sake, do not play Harry Maguire and let Eddie and Nketiah run it. Can you imagine? I mean, this is the thing my mate joked about where he said about Arsenal being he said Harry Maguire's going to have the game of his life against Arsenal. He's going to score a bicycle kick from the halfway line or something. But if I'm Harry Maguire, his missus, because his missus must watch the game sometimes, just think, fucking hell. I've lucked out here. He's got all that money. He's got no personality. He ain't got the looks, but at least he's got the money. But fuck me, he's shit at football. And then she watches the Arsenal game and goes, he's got to chase that kid. No, he's got no chance. No fucking chance.
Yeah. I mean, from an Arsenal perspective, you're hoping that flipping Harry Maguire does start, and he probably will, but more than likely, maybe that all of a sudden come out of all their players. Varane will come back, They'll probably have McTominay back, and Ronaldo will probably come back. Another point to prove, but you know you can only play what's in front of you. Danny, if we talk about the good of Arsenal, we have to talk about the bad of Arsenal, sadly, and the first goal that we conceded. From what I can remember, Elneny tried to play a ball to Xhaka, and I think Kante intercepted it. And I can't remember who was on the wing. Goes to me now. Werner, that's it. Werner, and he cuts in and he takes a shot, and I think Xhaka kind of turns his back and it deflects of Xhaka's foot and it goes into the goal. And I think Ramsdale just wrong-footed. He tries his best to get there. When I first saw it, I was very critical of Ramsdale. I was like, you should have got there. And I thought it was a really soft goal to concede, but you do see that a really slight deflection off Xhaka, and Ramsdale just can't get there. The flight of the ball just goes in. Danny, could we have done more to prevent that goal?
No, not really. People are moaning about Xhaka turning his back. When you've got someone, I mean, you can see in the little picture there, that bloke has put all of his weight behind that ball and he has spanked it. And later on in the game, we did see Xhaka not turn his back and he got hit with the ball and he just stood there and went, I've got Albanian blood in me. He hit the ball at me all day long. So it does make you wonder why he turned his back. But if he wouldn't have turned his back, Karl, then it wouldn't have ricocheted off him, and it probably wouldn't have gone in. So the answer is yes, Xhaka, don't turn your back. But how many people are going to want to stand there when a bloke's kicking the ball as hard as he can at you in that split second? Because he's so far out from goal. I mean, I never remember what the yard lines are from there, but he's about 6 foot out from the edge of the box. And for him to have a shot there, no one's expecting that. And the old 9 times out of 10, that's not going in thing is applicable there, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I mean, like I said, when I first saw it, I did think that Ramsdale could have done more, but he couldn't. I think his weight, you can see from the picture that you're showing, his weight is on his other foot to go the other way. But because it takes that slight deflection, it literally just spins. And I was kind of kicking myself just because of the timing of the goal. I think it was like 4 minutes. And you kind of people always say you're vulnerable just after you score. And I think that kind of showed that we were. And like you said, Danny, I don't think there's much we could have done. Like you said, 9 times out of 10, he takes that shot. And it's Werner as well. That goes high, handsome. Yeah, it goes into the crowd. Like, it's not going to go in. So, as much as you don't like seeing goals conceded, John, like it was one of those things that there was not much we could have done about that.
Yeah, I mean, the pace of the game was so ridiculous, and like as you know, we get the first goal, and we get a bit of luck from Christensen, but it's from hard work and the way we're set up and everything. And then the way we conceded it, but it was just so many sloppy passes, and it was from both teams. It wasn't just us. I think it was actually Eddie who played the short pass to Xhaka in the end. And I know people are going to dig me out for this because I'm such a Xhaka stan, but the whole turning your back thing, I don't think he's turning his back as much as he's trying to make himself as big as he can to try and block the shot. And in Ramsdale's defence, because the first time I saw it, I was like, fucking hell, Ramsdale, how did you not save that? Because it seemed slow after the deflection. But it gets the deflection, which changes the flight. And I think Holding's directly in his eye line. And Holding is sort of out of place, not sure where he's supposed to go because Xhaka's come in. He doesn't know if he's covering Loftus-Cheek, who's coming through the middle, or I can't remember who was on the overlap. It might have been Alonso or someone coming down on the outside of Werner. So I just think he sees it so late. And look, I said this during the game when it was 2-2, and I still stick by it. Right, Chelsea were basically missing Rudiger and Jorginho. Now, granted, Rudiger is their best defender, no denying that, and Jorginho is a brilliant midfielder. But they've got so much depth and talent, it's ridiculous. Their bench was fucking unreal last night compared to ours. We were going toe-to-toe with the current European champions, all right, I know they're not going to be by the end of the season, quite comfortably the third best team in the country, arguably should be doing better this season than they actually are, and one of the best teams in Europe. And we've gone out there without Partey, Tomiyasu. We haven't really had a striker Tierney for the last 6 months. No Tierney. We're missing tons of key players and experienced players as well. That's the big thing, big experienced players. And we were going toe to toe with them. And I was just like, sometimes you've got to suck it up and just go, all right, the other team have got really good players and they'll get a bit of luck. Like, we got some luck on our first goal. They got some luck on theirs from the deflection. It's like, fine. But just the attitude of the players and the way we were playing and how vulnerable Chelsea looked at us, like, I wasn't worried. I was like, no, I think we're still well in this. Like, there was just a belief in the way they were moving the ball and the way we were getting at Chelsea's defence. They seemed so open at the back that they were just there to be taken apart. And we, like, Bukayo Saka, man. Woo! That boy.
The second goal was brilliant. I mean, it was a pass up. I think when Saka's 1-on-1 with you, it's a write-off. Especially, Sarr, who, and when he came from France, everyone was talking about, he's the second coming of Cannavaro. But once he cuts in on his left foot, it's just brilliant. Pass to Odegaard. Odegaard just takes a touch, waits for ESR to come in, and Smith Rowe literally rolls it into the back of the net. The goal, the counter-attack's just absolutely beautiful.
It's such a good finish. Like, that is my childhood watching Paul Merson score goals, like when I was growing up. That is such a beautiful finish. But the team goal, and it is hilarious because it is like someone did a tweet and it was a video, and it was Arsenal this season in a nutshell. Because if you rewind the play all the way back, we've got the ball at the back, we're under pressure, Holding gets it, he's still rusty, his passing hasn't been great, and he sort of wanders into no man's land in the middle of the 18-yard box, and everyone's going, fucking hell, Bob, what are you doing? Fucking Granit comes in, he's like, it's all right, I'm going to Maldini the shit out of this. Just takes it off him, takes it past one, nutmegs another, cruise into midfield, and he's like, oh, my mate Martin's over there. Nice calm pass, boom. Martin will know what to do with it. And Odegaard, like, all night, as soon as he got the ball, he was instantly, right, is Saka one-on-one with Alonso, he's going to fucking ruin him. Because he had Alonso on toast. That guy did not want anything to do with him. Just like, I was about to make a joke about Alonso could have been in his car, he still would have driven away. There was some great, like, some of the songs last night about Alonso are amazing. But yeah, no, just like Xhaka in that, and I was like, you're nutmegging people in our box. I was like, that's fucking amazing. Like, to have the balls to, again, I know I love Xhaka, but yeah, just to have the confidence to do that. That's why managers pick him, because he'll like, no, I'll take the responsibility. If I fuck up, it's my fault. I'll take the flak for it. But yeah, do that, and then Odegaard, and then just out to Saka, and just that Chelsea defence is just instantly like shit the moment that kid gets the ball. And Smith Rowe, just those timing runs. He's been a little bit out of form lately, and he looks like maybe he's carrying an injury. But he had that spark again last night. A couple of times he picked the ball up and turned around at people and took his man on and beat him and stuff. That's like one of my favourite goals for a long time. And yeah, I love those finishes where it's just like, it's really like, because the way he's coming onto it, you expect him to like drill it into the top corner or something, don't you? But yeah, just totally calm, and the keeper's just like, no, got no chance. Such a good goal.
The fact that he just rolls it in, and it's like you said, John, it's the whole team goal. That the fact that Chelsea nearly scored, and the fact that we counter-attack, and within 10 seconds we're going 2-1 up against, like you said, the third best team in English football this season, the current European champions, and no one expected it. And the fact that Stamford Bridge literally went quiet, apart from the Arsenal fans celebrating, which, who doesn't love to see that? It's just brilliant. And Xhaka, he gets it. He's not everyone's favorite player, but he's one of those necessities that you need. You need him in the squad. I mean, when the summer comes up, there's going to be talk of him leaving, no doubt. There's going to be talk of him going, and he should be still be in the team. For every bad game that Granit Xhaka has, he has a game like that. Yeah. Where without him, what would we do?
He's a real leader on the pitch as well. There was a few journalists last night. I think Simon might have tweeted it as well, but they were saying that like Arteta was in constant dialogue with Xhaka about the way the team shape was changing and positional plays and everything. And he just relays that out because he understands all of that. And look, he's got his flaws and his faults, but he's a genuine leader on the pitch. And that's why so many players, respect him and look up to him, because he'll be the first one if he makes a mistake to front up to everyone. But he's got the confidence. Sometimes he hasn't got the ability. Don't get me wrong. Another time he does that, we lose the ball and concede a goal, and he looks fucking stupid. And we do. but he will always say, "Yeah, give me the ball. I'll take the ball. Don't care. 3 players on me. I'll take the ball. Just give me the ball." He's not Thomas Partey. He's not going to be able to wriggle out of it every single time like Partey does because he hasn't got that ability. But he will never shy away from it. Yeah, the whole team and even in that goal as well, like Eddie's movement as well, like dragging defenders back so it makes the space for Smith Rowe. It is a whole team goal, and having the confidence to go and play like that and score a goal like that after you've conceded, so quickly in response to your first one at Stamford Bridge against the team that, those players probably go in there knowing, this is a really fucking good team. Maybe they are better than us, but still having the confidence to go and do that and then the ability to do it as well. That is so good. Yeah. So really, really, really pleased just for the whole team. And I've absolutely loved that goal. But yeah, I will never get over the image of watching Granit Xhaka nutmegging someone in our box to set up a goal. That's gonna be I've just got that gif running through my head all day.
Danny, at that point we're cruising 2-1, and you're thinking, just get to halftime, and we can reset for the second half. But you forget, Danny, that you support Arsenal. And Arsenal don't like to make things easy, do they? No, they don't. Danny, just a quick question. Do you think it was a foul on Ben White in the lead up to the Chelsea goal?
I didn't see enough of the replay because I was too busy shouting that it was. But I think it might have been, was it Alan Smith doing the commentary or whoever it was saying it does look, in slow-mo, it does look like he fell down. But either way, you have to give the advantage to the defender because it turns out that when he got into the box, I'll put it up here, that we look at that picture in the centre of the box, you've got Ramsdale crouching down doing the ready to do something about it, and then unpronounceable is there, and he toe pokes it past Ramsdale, but the only player really near him is Tavares, our left back, who's played 5 minutes of football all season. You think, hold on, haven't we got 3 other centre backs on the pitch? Where are they all? Well, one's laying on his arse because he's been fouled, and the other 2 are running into the box going, oh shit, we didn't expect that to happen. And they were still waving their arms. You can see there, Elneny's got his arms up, and Ben White is standing there not doing anything, and Saka is standing there not really doing anything. They all obviously thought it was a foul, which is why they hadn't all rushed over. And Chelsea, being the cheating rent boys that they are, they just carried on playing. Let them have the goal, Karl. It doesn't matter because we're better than them. Morally and on the pitch, we're better than them. So turns out I wasn't bothered, but at the time I was screaming, you cheating swines.
I mean, I hear you, Danny, but, it's the age-old play to the whistle. It's not a foul until the referee says it is. And the fact that we kind of stopped playing doesn't bode well. And like you said, Azpilicueta coming in and finishing like that. John, just can or should Tavares do a little bit better? Should he have more awareness of Azpilicueta running off him?
Yeah, he should do. His positional awareness hasn't been great. To be fair, at least he's tracking the runner, but he lets him get the wrong side. That's the big problem there. But yeah, the fault does start with Ben White. I'll be honest, I love Ben White because of his shithousery and some of the things that he does to buy fouls or the little trips and stuff he does on people running past him, and the way he looks at the ref with that innocent face. He's as if I'd do anything like that. But I think that was a case of centre back playing at right back, maybe forgetting what position he's in, because he's done that a few times, either giving away fouls in that position or, trying to win a foul and not being quite aware of where he is. I think if he's playing centre back, he doesn't make that decision to go down so easy. He gets muscled a little bit too easy. He thinks, I'll just buy a foul here, we'll be all right. And it doesn't get away with it. That doesn't excuse the defending. And it's a good ball, and it's a really good run from Azpilicueta, that's his name, Daniel, or Dave, as the Chelsea fans call him. Which I did, it's the one funny thing about Chelsea, I guess. But yeah, look, Nuno defending is clearly not his strong point. Whether he stays at the club or not, who knows? I hope he gets more chances. It balances the team better. We can cover him, I think, enough in games. We did in the Chelsea game, so there's no reason why we can't in others. He's going to get exposed sometimes. Maybe it is something you can work on. Who knows what his long-term future is. But at the end of the day, I really didn't care that we conceded because I was like, we're just going to score more goals because Chelsea were just there for the taking.
It was, I mean, we come out in the second half and I was kind of half expecting there to be a change. I said in the group, and me and sort of Femi agreed that this game was screaming out for Martinelli. And I honestly thought that he would take off Tavares and put on Martinelli and then go to like a very hybrid formation, because I just thought Chelsea's backline were so shit. If they had Saka one side, Emile Smith-Rowe and Martinelli all running at them, that they would have shit the bed, that they literally wouldn't know of what to do. And we had a few other chances. There was a shot by Emile Smith-Rowe, which just went wide. But then we came out in the second half and, you know, we matched them up. And I think both teams maybe got a dressing down from their managers. We were told, you pass to the team that's in red, because that's the people that you need to pass to. Because our passing did get better in the second half. And I think both teams are kind of told, just calm down a little bit. You know, 2-2, we're still in this game. It's there for the taking. And I think both teams almost believed that it was there, but it was our team that sort of took the impetus, John. And, you know, like I said in the beginning, Tavares capitalizes on a loose ball. And there is the most Arsenal of Arsenal goals. It ping-pongs in the box between Eddie, Thiago Silva being on by then, and not Christiansen, Sarr, and Eddie passes along and just slots it in. And by then, probably like you, John, and myself, get to scrape us off the roof.
Yeah, that was, I think, just before they went in, I just cracked open my first beer. And I think half of it got like spilled all over the place, and I was throwing it back my room and just going nuts. Only person in the flatmate's not here. I'm absolutely screaming, shouting, jumping about, sending voice notes to my mates, acting like I'm in the stadium. Like literally just before that, Thiago Silva made a really good tackle, like his first tackle in a game on Nketiah to stop him a really good chance. I thought, this is going to be tough for Eddie now because Christensen wasn't on it, and like Thiago Silva's a very, very good defender. But yeah, look, we got a bit of luck, but again, that luck comes from pressing high, knowing which players to press at the right time, pressing at the right time, the right keys and triggers for that. Tavares cuts the ball out, you know, and Eddie's in there just persevering, just like negging away. And if you're a defender and you've got someone like that chasing, it's like we used to moan about like Shane Long. You just like be at your ankles, like if you were like when it was Koscielny and people back in the day. And he's like little toe poke. And sometimes that's all you need. The moment that goal went in, I was like, that's it. We've won this. Because you could just see the players, and Chelsea were just they just looked despondent and all overshot. I mean, from that still, you look at this, and this starts like outside the box. This is pinging back and forth all over the place. 1 minute Eddie's got it, next he's not. Sarr's got it, then Kante, then Thiago Silva. And yeah, just they get in a real mess. And that's just really good striker instinct. It shows the difference you have when you have a striker who is pressing up and is going to be in the box and always available to try and pounce on something. And for what Eddie may lack in maybe some technical abilities or some physical attributes, his movement and his understanding and anticipation of where a ball is going to drop is really good. You cannot doubt that. He's always had that. His finishing might not be like in the top percent or anything, but he knows where the ball's going to be. And yeah, it was just, again, really, really good work from him. Like, absolutely deserved his plaudits. And like, we get that goal, and like, as you said, in the second half, both teams were passing better, but I thought we shut down Mason Mount. He weren't getting on the ball and like spraying about as much. I thought we looked much more comfortable. We were being sensible. The moment we got that goal, we go ahead. Once we win the ball back, we're just calm in possession. Like, we don't have to push it. We don't have to push it as much. We can keep it at the back a little bit, pass it about, keep it in midfield, let Chelsea come on to us. Then we'll find the space. Then we'll hit it out to Saka and scare Alonso again. Or then we'll put it into Smith-Rowe and like get him to turn and run. And we just looked way more comfortable than they did. And I think after that goal, they maybe had one other chance. I don't think it was from a corner. It might have been from open play where they managed to flash one across the box. Other than that, I don't remember them like troubling us at all in the game, like in the second half. We just looked a much better team. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of feared a little bit Lukaku versus Big Bob Holding because, you know, I just thought if they put Lukaku on Rob Holding, he's just going to out-muscle him. But I don't know, John, you watch Italian football a lot. The difference between the Inter Lukaku and the Chelsea Lukaku is just almost ridiculous. It seems like, I don't know, when in Italy, he seemed like he was much more fit. It looks like he's put on a bit more weight now. It looks like he just can't bother to run. I don't know if it's anything to do with the interview that happened, I think just the end of last year, was it?
Yeah,
he was talking about that he didn't want to leave Inter, but he was forced to, and then he kind of dropped out of form there. But, you know, what in your opinion, what's the major difference between, you know, the Inter Lukaku and this Chelsea one?
Well, when he first came back to Chelsea, they played a system that suited him a lot more, and he was getting the ball a lot more with his back on a defender, and he could turn and run. Obviously, at Inter, he had another guy to play off of. He had Lautaro, and he would be the sort of busy, almost like an Alexis type character. He'd be busy and running around him and making runs and opening up space for him and stuff. But yeah, ever since that interview, for whatever reason, his form dipped. Then obviously fell out of favour. He wasn't getting picked a lot. Then it was kind of funny because at first I was like, well, if they're not going to play Lukaku, who's going to score goals for Chelsea? But then all of a sudden, Timo Werner apparently remembered how to play football because he couldn't fucking score in a brothel before that happened. You know, and they obviously got Havertz and Ziyech, Mason Mount and stuff. But I think the system they play doesn't suit him. You need to let him just receive the ball, not come so deep, and just let him play with his back into people. But yeah, he doesn't look as fit as he was before. So I don't know if he's like got an injury at some point or something in that period where he was dropped and it's knocked him a bit. I don't know I would assume that the diet at Chelsea is pretty good. But I know that a lot of players say when they go to Serie A that like the food and the quality of the food is so much better than other leagues they've played in, and it does help them keep fitter. But yeah, he's a really good player. But last night he may as well have not been on the pitch. I can't remember him touching the ball really. There was like one moment where he like ran towards our box and laid it off for I can't remember if it was Werner or Havertz, but that was it. He did nothing all game. He didn't win headers. He wasn't like holding the ball up. They bossed him. And I think the weird thing is, so I thought he was going to play, like you said, against Holding because he's rusty and obviously hasn't come in. But a lot of the game he was playing against Gabriel, and Gabriel just beasted him. He was like, this is great. This is the football I want to play. I want to smash into people. He loves that sort of stuff, Gabriel. So
there was a stat going around where I think in the first half it was between Aaron Ramsdale and Lukaku, who had the least amount of touches, and that goes to show you a lot that if our goalkeeper and your £100 million striker has the same amount of touches, then something is definitely going wrong.
Yeah. So I just think the way Arteta set the team up and the fact he was changing it in the game multiple times, and then we'll get to the subs he brought on as well. I think it just messed Chelsea up and they didn't know how to deal with it, and it just completely knocked Lukaku's game. And I think Tuchel almost admitted himself after the game, like, oh, I got some things wrong, like with the lineup and stuff. And Arteta just outfought him and the players went out and did it on the pitch.
I mean, Danny, for some unknown reason, Azpilicueta or Dave wanted to swap shirts with Saka before the game ended, and he just grabbed hold of him. Now, I've looked at this, and with every decision, I put on my Arsenal hat, and I think if that was against, if that was, I don't know, Rob Holding on Lukaku, would I feel the same? And I looked at it, and I thought I would. It is 6 of one, half dozen the other, but the fact that he starts grabbing him before the ball is even crossed in, and it gets crossed in, and for some reason, Azpilicueta is grabbing Saka and dragging him down. What was going through his head, Danny, do you think?
Yeah, I've got the photo here somewhere of it.
I've got a theory. So as Danny tries to find the photo,
yeah,
I think Azpilicueta was trying to get Saka's autograph. Because if you look just before the ref blows his whistle, he's holding on to him, but it almost looks like he's begging him. I think he wants his autograph. Like, I don't know if someone had told him, like at the end of the game, he probably could have asked for his autograph, and then he wouldn't have had that argument with a fan. But yeah, that was hilarious. Go on, Danny.
But Saka is doing the right thing. I remember this quite vividly, which is strange for me because I don't usually. So Saka's running into the box, and then he feels Dave behind him, and he's got his arms around him. It's almost like he's trying to give him the Heimlich manoeuvre. That'd been a great name for the show, wouldn't it? Yeah, so it's like trying to give him the Heimlich, and then like any player, you can see Saka's. It's Saka, isn't it? Of course it is. Yeah, Saka's left arm is on the left thigh of Dave, so it's almost like trying to push him away. And then he's also decided, like you can see Eddie's Saka's right leg has gone underneath himself, so he's gone. Well, fair enough. I'm not getting to the ball. Any other player in that position would probably. He's got his arms around me. And if you're an experienced pro and you're that stupid that you're gonna in the 90th minute you're gonna grab someone round the waist. I'm gonna hold on to his arm. You can see Saka's right arm is clinching Dave's right arm underneath his armpit. He's going, well, I'm keeping that there. I'm going down. I get a penalty here. So it's a very clever move by Saka. And yeah, no matter what team does it in any position or any players, that's a penalty. Because if he's stupid enough to put himself in that situation where he's going to start hugging the player like that, you'd be silly not to take him down, to go down with it, would you? Because nothing else was going to come from that.
No, I agree. I don't see anything wrong that Saka done, and any other player in that position would have done exactly the same thing, because it was the fact that if he just stood goal side, Aspilicueta is going to win that ball in front of Saka. But for some other reason, he just drags him, and you think to yourself, you know, what are you doing? I mean, yeah, let's be very honest. Like Rudy said, it was a very soft penalty. It was really soft. But I don't care. Do you know why I don't care? Because Arsenal have had decisions go like that against them all season long. And, you know, it's about time we got the rub of the green. I mean, John, how did Mason Mount stay on the pitch yesterday?
Yeah, that is exactly what I was going to say. The first one was like high studs.
In
the first half, wasn't it? And I think, like, at the time I was annoyed, but then obviously we were winning and stuff, and I didn't really care. But the second one, I think he's more of a, like, he's a high foot, and it should have been a booking. I don't think it's like an intentional one. But it's the accumulation of, like, you've done that twice in a game and you haven't even been booked. It's just bizarre. So, like, I thought the ref, again, we don't really need to talk about it because we won, but I thought the ref was shocking yesterday for us in particular with some of the decisions. But how he stayed on, and then there was it Sarr as well? I think there was a moment where it might have been in the build-up to the Saka getting the penalty. I can't remember who he dragged down now, but he was like lucky because he's dragging on someone else, and I think he'd already been booked at that point. So he could have, like, got himself sent off as well. So they could have ended up with like 9 men. Like, at the end of the day, as long as no players are injured and stuff, it's fine. We've been shit unlucky with referees this season. But I guarantee if you speak to fans of every other club, they're all going to say the same thing. The referees in this league are fucking dog shit. They are not good enough to do the job. They are really bad. VAR, there's no problem with it. The problem is the people who are operating VAR. You look at other leagues, the referees are much higher quality. Yes, they'll make mistakes because everyone makes mistakes. You're human. This is what we do. But the level of the refereeing in this country is so bad. The fact we got given the penalty and it was John Moss, fucking amazing. Like, the things that happened last night, that if you asked after the Southampton game, an Arsenal striker scoring 2 goals, not 1, 2 goals from open play, John Moss not booking Granit Xhaka and awarding Arsenal a penalty. These things don't exist. And all I'm saying is, look, yesterday it was 4:20. We fucking blazed it all over Stamford Bridge. It was amazing. It was so good. And also, Danny probably hasn't got the picture. I should have told him before. But Saka getting that ball and taking it off Martinelli for that penalty, you just need that. Someone needs to get the picture of what's his name, Simeone with the cojones, where he's like giving it that. Just get that picture and he's giving it. Check out the size of my balls and just put Saka's head on it. Because after the Euros, like, all the pain and suffering he must have had from that, the stick from other fans and everything. But stepping up, yeah, right, it's a different situation. But he takes the ball off Martinelli. He's like, no, I'm taking this penalty. Takes the exact same penalty, scores. That kid is unreal, honestly. The mentality of that kid, so good. He's Danny, grounded.
How happy was you, Danny, when he scored that penalty? I mean, you just saw the elation when he scored that penalty.
I wasn't bothered by whether it might have been helping him the fact there was no pressure on it. We'd won the game; it was all over. This was just a purely "fuck you, Chelsea" in your face. You've got no fans, you've got empty seats, you've got no money, you've got one ball, much like Himmler and all that lot. And just look at Saka there, and that is all the Arsenal artists are going to be drawing that, and that's almost legendary. Not quite the Thierry Henry against Spurs, where all the Arsenal fans are in the background, but it's along that line of all the fans going mental and Saka and just the look on his face and everything about that just summed up a perfect night for us. And hopefully we can get this form, Karl, and bring it on to Sunday, because it almost looks like Arteta's fallen upon the Partey's out. Oh, hello, El Nini. Oh, you're doing a job there. You're doing all right. Big Bob's come in, look good the second half. And Man United are on their arse, and we've got all the ingredients there, Karl, plus the passion from the young lads there. And it's we've had 3 shit games in a row where we all wanted it going, for fuck's sake, here we go again. And the Arsenal roller coaster is now right at the very top. Now, do we go up another level, Karl, against Man United and do it again? Or do we plummet back down and get back to the here we go, Arsenal is shit again? Because it's mental cruelty, Karl, and it's driving me, quite frankly, up the wall.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, I saw a picture on Twitter where it said, the Man United that we want to turn up is the one to play against Liverpool. The Man United that will turn up will be the 99 treble winning side, where some unknown reason Harry Maguire would have the game of his life. He scored like a bullet header from outside the box. Jesse Lingard will start and do a little dance on our pitch. Nobody fucking wants that. But see, my issue now is, what team do we go with against Manchester United? I mean, you can almost say that Ronaldo probably will be back, and it wouldn't surprise me. McTominay with his shit housing in the middle of the pitch, he'll be back. Will Varane be back? Who knows? But I mean, Tomiyasu has been seen, in training pictures and didn't make the bench yesterday. But so obviously he's not fit enough to even be on the bench, which makes me think that he's definitely going to come back into the starting lineup against Manchester United, and hopefully he gets to make the bench. But I don't know, like, John, would you revert to Cedric at right back and then Ben and Gabriel in the middle, or would you go with the same team that we played against Chelsea to play Man United?
I think for the most part, I would keep it the same. The question, I think the bigger question is probably, does Cedric come back in and Ben White shuffle back to centre-back? I'm guessing that will depend on who's available for United. I'm sure Arsenal have way better intel than we do on who's going to be available for them, who's fit, that sort of thing. So that will be dependent on that. Will El Neni play again? I don't know. Lokonga might come back in for the United game again. Depends who's available in the midfield.
But has he done enough, John, to deserve a start?
Yeah, no, don't get me wrong. He was amazing. He was great. The question is, can he play again that early on Saturday after being out of the team for so long? Obviously, he played a long period in January at the AFCON and then had some time off. And whether he's going to be able to do that quick turnaround or not will be the thing. I think Arteta was very smart in the Chelsea game with the subs he made. He could have done some he could have put Pepe or Lokonga or something like that. But what he did was he took off Smith Rowe and Nketiah and Saka. I know Saka obviously it wasn't until right at the end, but he took off the 3 who were probably pressing most in the game, try and give them as much of a chance to be fresh for United. Martinelli understood starting on the bench because I think the idea was obviously we go in front, not behind, and then you can bring on Martinelli to chase down the game. So for me personally, as frustrating as Cedric was when he came on with some of his choices of passes, because we definitely could have scored more, I would, and it's not a knock against Holding at all. I'm not looking at Rob Holding to pass the ball well as a centre-back. I couldn't give a toss if he makes a few mistakes. I'm looking at him to put his face in the way and just look at his beautiful new hairline. And that's what he did in the game. But I would put Ben White back into centre-back and then bring in Cedric. If El Nenny's fit enough, I'd keep him there. And I would probably just swap Smith Rowe and Martinelli, maybe. Again, it depends who's available for United. I think that the one thing you do have to consider, though, is if you are playing Martinelli, I think Arteta might be tempted to swap the sides that Martinelli and Saka play on, just so Tavares gets a little bit more cover, which is why I think Smith Rowe probably started there ahead of him last night, just to help out a little bit defensively. But United play a different system to Chelsea, so who knows? But like Eddie, Ødegaard, Saka, all the guys who were out on the pitch last night all deserve a chance to start, absolutely. But yeah, I think I would swap White in for Holding and then Cedric in at right back. But if he went with the same team and they're all fit and available, I'd be just as confident, honestly.
I think I would tend to agree with you. Cedric is not our favourite player, not at all. But I really don't want Ben White playing right back against Man United, just because although Man United are playing really poor, they're playing Arsenal now. Like that, John, you grew up in the same era as me. Like the team you hate is Tottenham first, and then you hate Man United, because those the 90s that I brought up to really hate Man United, and that's he hate. And for some reason, they seem to turn up against us. And what you don't want is you want your best players in their best position.
Yeah.
And Ben White, he wasn't comfortable yesterday. Let's be very honest, but I want him playing in the middle, with his partnership with Gabriel and Cedric. You kind of got to rein him in. So that's Arteta's job. Arteta is the manager, the head coach. So you tell him, look, I know you want to get up there and swing the crosses in and do whatever, but it's not working. You've done it for 3, 4, 5 games. It's not working. Now, put the ball on the floor. Because we don't have a tall striker. We don't have a Giroud or anything that's going to score a diving header or anything like that. Play it to Eddie Nketiah's feet, because he's good with his feet. He can get the ball out, get the ball out of his feet and get a shot off. So play towards those sort of strengths. And you're hoping that Arteta will sit him down and do that. So that's the reason why I would want Cedric back in.
Yeah. I think the other thing as well is it does help our build-up play from the back. And I think last night was bringing guys in who Arteta trusted that if he needed to change things during a game, like 10 minutes in, 15 minutes in, like he did, he could relay that on the pitch and go, right, you've got to switch now to a 5, you've got to switch to a 3, you've got to switch to a 4. And he trusted that those players on the pitch would do that for him. I don't think we're going to need to be as flexible against Man United. Ben White back at centre-back gives us another option in the build-up. Cedric, as annoying as some of his crosses are, he's not crossing it for Lacazette, who might be a bit deeper than Eddie would be. We're actually going to have a guy in the box. We're going to have someone who's going to be around the centre backs. Not the biggest guy in the world, but he's going to cause some problems. You don't always, when you put a cross in, like you said, Karl, you don't always have to put it up in the air. You can put it along the floor. So I'm confident. I'm sure in some way or another I'll be made to eat my words. Whether it's the United game or before the end of the season and another one. But look, the guys went out and did it. Arteta and his coaching team were brilliant. And just take that belief into United game, because the last time we played United, we had that whole. It was like the team they put out wasn't great and they weren't playing great, but we played against a badge rather than the players on the pitch. Don't fucking matter. It's Man United. You're better than them. You're playing better than them. You've got more ability than them. You've got more belief. You're going in the right direction. That club is not. That club's in a mess.
You can't show them respect. That's what it is, isn't it, John?
Yeah. And it's and like even like it's nothing about like you can respect the club Man United and all their history and tradition and everything. That's fine. There's no problem with that. But don't go out there fearful of them. And that's what they showed in the Chelsea game. They went out and they were like, no, we're not going to be scared of you. We're going to play our game. We're going to come here. We're going to impose the way we want to play. We're not going to be, let's just sit farther back for 90 minutes and try and nick one on the break. It's like, no, we're going to play. And we're going to try and outplay you on your pitch. So, yeah, just do that against United as well. And look, as long as they go out and they give as much as they did last night in the United game, whatever the result, I'll be well happy with the team. But obviously, I want to win.
I mean, yeah, Danny, are you going to get up at 12:30 to watch the United game?
Sadly, yes. It's but I don't want to get up too early, so I'm doing the preview show on Friday night with Glenn from New York. And so we'll be doing that 6 p.m. tomorrow for about 3/4 of an hour, maybe a little bit more. So I've got the sense to do that because I'm not getting up at 10 a.m. But yeah, I should be getting up at 12 and getting my fat little ass in here and watching the game. You're not at work, are you, Karl?
No, I will be watching the game. Danny, so let's say all things going well and we beat Manchester United. I think that up the road, they've got Brentford away, who are not really... Brentford are playing well at the moment, so it's not a given that, they're going to beat Brentford. And let's say the planets align and we spank Man United and Brentford beat that lot. Do we start believing again, Danny? Are we back to... I mean, it still is in our hands, isn't it? And I still think, and John will probably agree with me, I hope he does, that the key game is us going to their ground. I think that is the absolute key fixture. But, if we do get a result against Man United and Brentford beat that lot, is the belief back on, Danny? Do we now start saying we're still favourites again for top four?
Well, if it's in our hands, all we have to do is win the rest of the games for the rest of the season, which is doable. And then we have got 4th place and Champions League football next season and all that lovely, lovely money. Eriksen has, and someone said in the live show last night, every time Eriksen has played for Brentford, he hasn't lost. His contract, he's got a 1-year extension up to him if he wants, but Spurs are looking at signing him back in the summer. So hopefully he won't have a shit game because he wants to go back to Spurs because he is too good for Brentford. He's too good for most of the sides in the bottom half of the Premier League. But I always feel with Arsenal, being an Arsenal fan, it's like you're meeting someone who's got a handful of sweeties in one hand and you go, oh, I'm having a handful of sweeties. And as you go to take the handful of sweeties, they punch you in the balls. And you go, oh, and then they pour the sweeties all over your body as you're writhing on the floor in pain. That is being an Arsenal fan, which is very, very sad. But I'm a mug, Karl. I'm a mug. I'm a believer. And so I'm going to think, you watch my tweets. We go and beat Man United and I'll be going, that's it. It's back on. I always fucking do. And if we lose to Man United, I'll be going, Arteta's got no idea what he's doing. What the fuck's going on? I just hope that he's got the sense to keep the most of the players. I agree with you with the right back thing because Big Bob was struggling and Ben's best position is at centre back with Gabriel. They've got a great partnership there. I just hope he doesn't rush back Tomiyasu too soon because there's only a handful of games going for the rest of the season and right back is a problem for us. But I've seen enough from us in that game that the problem with Sky, we've all said, I think we've all known, it's just a matter of time until we start scoring because we've created all those chances game after game. And we can do it against them because Man United are on their arse. They're shit. Ralph is he's on his way out. And he's not going to be the manager next season. They've got the Ajax manager, Ten Hag, however you say it. And so Donny van der Beek is happy. He's going to be getting some games next season.
I forgot he existed.
He's going to get relegated with Everton, it looks like, as Burnley are winning 2-0. I'm excited, Karl. And if you're not doing anything, Karl, I haven't got anybody ready for the post-game show.
Oh, yeah, that's fine. Are we talking about the 3-1 loss? Sorry, win. 3-1 win. 3-1 win.
I'm calling it right now. All right. I'm going to go full optimism. I'm sticking my neck out on the line. We beat Man United. We've got top 4.
Are you going to come on the show, John? Our post-game show and do that?
I have no idea what I'm doing on Saturday. I know I'm watching the game, but I don't know if I've got any plans after that.
Throwing beer around the place and getting drunk.
Probably, yeah. Getting drunk and passing out by about 4 in the afternoon. I think if we beat them, then we've got top 4. Look, we got the West Ham game afterwards, and everyone's saying it's a tough game. I get that, but that is bang in the middle between their two legs in the Europa League. They're going to be. They don't give a fuck.
If they're in it from the first leg, like if they
ain't going to give a shit. They are going to stick out a crap team. You know, we got Leeds. The Spurs game is obviously huge. Newcastle are now safe. The majority of those players, I know they've got some new good players in, and Eddie Howe's done a really good job there, but the majority of that squad is still the same squad. They're going to be on the beach. They're safe now. They ain't going to care less. And Everton might be relegated by that point. And don't forget who Tottenham have got to go and play away before us. They've got to go to fucking Anfield before they play us. Was it 4 days? 4 days before our game. A Liverpool team that are chasing down the title. They've got to go and play that game.
The thing is, as well as they've got to play Burnley and also Norwich. Now, if they're still fighting for their lives, they're literally going to be scrapping. So, I mean, yeah, we're clutching at straws, let's be very nice, and we're hoping for the best. But, you know, you look at it today, Burnley are beating Southampton 2-0, which is another kick in the teeth, isn't it? Like, but, you know, the fact that Burnley have not given up on trying to stay in this league makes you know that they're going to be fighting for absolutely everything.
And me, manager of the season, mate. That's fucking weird. That's so weird, but yeah.
So yeah, it's not over and done with. But even so, John, you and I talk in our group, and we were talking about this squad. Like, I think at the beginning of the season, it's the hope that kills you, isn't it? Because at the beginning of the season, everyone was saying, we get top 6, we're happy, we're fine. And now, and then you started believing that, you know, we can get top 4. And then we lost a few games. And then, you know, we're now beat Chelsea, and it almost seems like the optimism's back. My, I guess, bit of reservation is this squad good enough for the Champions League? No doubt we will add to it in the summer if we make Champions League. I have no doubt about that. But, you know, we're not going to make 10 signings, are we? We're going to make probably maximum of, you know, 4, maybe 5 signings. And even with 4 or 5 signings, and with those 4 or 5 signings, you're talking 2 strikers, you're talking maybe a replacement right back, because Bellerin's not really going to come back, is he? So you're looking for Cedric. Is he good enough for the squad? Who knows? You're looking at maybe another midfielder, because you are going to need someone to cover one of Xhaka and or Partey, and maybe a winger. I don't know. But do you think that this team, even with additions, whoever the additions are, could compete in Champions League? And by compete, we're not going to win it, John. We know this. But I mean, make it to the quarterfinals. Because that's what you kind of want, don't you? Quarterfinals next season, you'd be happy.
I think, like, if we get top 4, which is still an if, obviously, then I think the starting 11, starting 10 plus whoever the new striker is, because I assume at least one's coming in, if not 2, I think is good enough to get out of the group stages. And if you get some luck, depending on, obviously, it depends who you draw and stuff, then yeah, we could get to the quarterfinals. Like you said, I'm not expecting to, like, if we get top 4 and then like challenge for a Champions League, it's fucking ridiculous. It just ain't gonna happen. Is the squad overall ready for it? No, but that's where you need depth. So, you know, if we can bring in the right players at the right level and improve in, like, it's very specific areas, isn't it? Like, I think centre back, we're fine. We don't know what's going to happen with Saliba, but if he does come back in, that's a guy who can fit straight in, and you can trust him to play that level of football. Our like options in the wide areas, we're sorted. We've got 2 number 10s basically, if we want to. You know, Ødegaard and Smith Rowe, different players, but they can both play there. Our 2 starting centre mids. Again, I know people aren't keen on Xhaka, and maybe he goes. Who knows? We don't know what's going to happen with him in the summer. Maybe Roma will come back in for him. I think those 2 starting are good enough quality to get you to the quarterfinals of a Champions League. The back 4, when it's all fit and available, goalkeeper, no problems. The big one is striker. We do need, you know, a consistent striker. I do think we need cover in centre mid. Lokonga's going to have it's his first year. He's been at the club and everything. He's not played as many minutes, but you get yourself into Europe. You can play those group games. Maybe you've got an easy game after a group game, so you can go, oh, we're going away to Burnley if they stay up or something or whatever. And it's like, okay, in this game we can go, right, Granit, you can play, and Partey, you can have this game off, and we can put Lokonga in, give him more minutes, build up, his confidence, that sort of thing. It's adding to that depth and how much we're going to be able to bring in. I don't know. I'm more confident with the current setup than I have been for a long time with the transfers at Arsenal, just because of how good the recruitment was last summer. Right, the players they brought in, and there was a lot of reservations about many of those players who come into the squad. The only one who really hasn't done it, but he's still there and is played last night, is Tavares. Everyone else has come in and basically been a success, and pretty much all of them have all gone straight into the team as well. It's not like they've come in and they're all young guys. So if the recruitment was that good last summer, getting like 5 out of 6 pretty much spot on, that's amazing recruitment. We have not had that at Arsenal for a long time. So I've got every confidence they can go again in the summer. And if we've got Champions League, the level of player we can get is way better than Europa League. So,
yeah, and it's the money that comes with it as well.
Yeah,
I think
it's that.
And I also think it being a World Cup year, if a striker, is on the cusp of a club and you tell him, you know what, we'll play you nearly every game so you can try and get into that World Cup squad, because you think there's only, 4 months for them to really get into that World Cup squad, which I still just think with the World Cup being in this November is just absolutely ridiculous. But, you tell a striker, we'll play you every game. And I think the Champions League games are really compact as well, because it's 6 weeks on the bounce, isn't it? So you say, you know what, we'll play you in the Champions League, the biggest stage on the world, apart from the World Cup, in club football, and you will play. A club, they're going to think, I want to go to Arsenal because I'm guaranteed to play and I want to be in that World Cup shop window. So, it's one of those things where you get a player who's just on the cusp and they will play well for you. And I think with the players that they've got behind, Saka, Smith Rowe, Odegaard, Martinelli, if all those people are providing you with the ball, we just need someone to put him back in the net. Eddie Nketiah showed that today. Feed him with a good striker, and we will get you goals.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there was a stat last night. Sorry, just quickly. Odegaard has created more chances than any other player in the Premier League this season. So you just imagine what we would be doing with a 20 to 25 a season striker up top, with that sort of service. It's crying out for that, obviously, and everyone knows it. So, if you're a striker and you're looking to move clubs, get in a Premier League, which is like the most watched league in the world, and fingers crossed we get in the Champions League by the end of the season to play Champions League football, then you'd want to sign for Arsenal. You've got all that talent behind you, young team, ambitious, going somewhere.
But even if we don't get Champions League, you get into the Europa League. Yeah, it's not as prestigious as the Champions League, but I think being back in Europe has got to be the minimum, like the absolute minimum.
Yeah, I don't think there's any worries about that. I think we'll get minimum Europa League. It's just, can they do this last push, these last, 6 games to get the Champions League?
Karl, do you think Arteta is going to look like an absolute genius for not wasting money in January if we do get Champions League? He'll just go, see, that's why I didn't buy players in January, because I couldn't get Champions League quality players then.
I think he's damned if he does and damned if he doesn't. Like, it's a bit like with Man City not buying the striker. If Man City go and win the league without a striker, he will say, look, there's a reason why we didn't spunk that 160 million on Harry Kane, because we didn't need him. But then if he doesn't go and win the Premier League or the Champions League, whatever, everyone will turn around saying, you should have spent that money because he would have got you the goal to take you to the next level. Do I think Arsenal should have bought a striker in January? Yes. Hindsight is a wonderful thing. And I still think yes, because I think we'd be in a total different position now. I mean, not saying they're guaranteed to make a difference, but, with the chances we created against Southampton, would an absolute brilliant, with a different proper striker made a difference? Yes, they would have. Same against Crystal Palace. I don't know, because Lacazette didn't have the best game. And against Brighton, I don't know what happened against Brighton, but I would rather us save our money to buy the right striker in the summer rather than buying a striker that turns out to be a Kim Kallstrom. It doesn't come in and doesn't play. Suarez,
Yeah, absolutely.
No one can tell me why we bought Suarez, but it is what it is. But, I'd rather us take our time. And if we miss out, and if we still get Europe, we say, right, we didn't get that person in January and we missed out. Now we're going to get the player that we want, and we're going to make an absolute brilliant push for it. Yeah. That's my opinion. What do you think, John?
Yeah, I think, the other thing as well is there was obviously all the talk of us pushing for Vlahovic. We don't know exactly how much money Arteta had to spend, how much Kroenke was giving him, because, he did give him a lot of money in the summer to spend. I know the wages of the players that they were on and stuff was lower, but he gave him a lot of money to spend in the summer, so maybe we only had a limited offer we could make to Vlahovic. I mean, I don't think it would have made any difference in the end. He was always wanted to go to Juventus. Or maybe the Kroenke said, you know what, we know what's going to happen with Aubameyang. Obviously, it wasn't until the last day of the window. That's another player's contract. We're writing off. We've done it with Ozil, Guendouzi. We're losing money on, technically, I guess, because he's worth more than what Marseille are going to end up paying for him. Maybe they said, look, we can't give you any more money. Maybe that's why we couldn't get anyone in January. But it's so much more important now that we don't go back to the mistakes of let's get Mustafi because it's a quick fix, or let's get this player because it's a quick fix. Because then you end up with players who, if it's not checked properly, they don't fit in the squad, they make little clicks and they unbalance the dressing room and everything else. It seems like a real harmony within the squad right now, and Arteta's got them all on board. They're all, they're on the boat or the train or whatever the fuck it was he said the other day. They're on the blimp. They're all getting on the Zeppelin. They're all fine. They're all following what he's saying, and they all believe in each other. And you don't want anything to come in and disrupt that. So you've got to do your due diligence properly. So yeah, I'd rather take the time. If it ends up costing us top 4 this season, it'll be disappointing, but I was at the start of the season, I was like, top 6 is the target. Get yourself back into Europe, and then rebuild again from there. But if we do top 4, then Arteta's done an amazing job.
I think it'd be a miracle. Not even a miracle, because it just goes to show hard work will definitely pay off. But it was something that no one expected. I think everyone was happy with top 6. And like I said, we got towards the end of the season, and we started believing because we were playing well, just had a little bit of a blip. And like I said, I think it will hurt more losing out to that lot in top 4. I think the fact that we lost out to top 4, I think if we lost out to Man United, no one would care. Everyone would be like, well, shit, it is what it is. But I think if Spurs getting ahead of us, I think that will hurt more than not getting into the Champions League.
Yeah, let's be honest. Start of the season, it was like, okay, City and Liverpool and maybe Chelsea might all be in the title fight. But definitely those two. Chelsea might be in there. We're not really sure. And United will get 4th because everyone saw the spending they'd got, the players they brought in, like Varane and Sancho, obviously Ronaldo and everything. And it's like, okay. And then it's like, right, who's getting 5th and 6th? Right, okay. So everyone's going, well, Arsenal hoping to get there. Spurs maybe, not really sure. Obviously, they had to change the manager and everything. And then they spent some money in January and they had that good run of form, and then they lost to Brighton. So look, you never know. No one expected it at the start of the season, but yeah, I don't want to lose it to them. But look, whatever happens, I think Arteta's done a really good job, and you can see the improvement in the team, the direction we're going. So that is, for me, that's like the overall picture. That's the bigger one. Obviously, it'd be bitter to see that. If we don't quite make it in the end.
Agreed. All right, Daniel, do you want to do some questions now?
Certainly do. We've got a few in there. There's a few that we aren't answering because we are an Arsenal podcast, but we'll answer the ones that are. Our very own Femstar, a question for later. Time to drop Ramsdale for a bit. Save percent has dropped massively, looking more like Szczesny when every first shot is a goal. And also, Karl, you answer this one first. have you noticed he hasn't been doing those down the field pinpoint accuracy shots or passes like doing the quarterback role? He hasn't been doing that in recent games. I get the feeling there's something not quite right. Maybe he's got an injury because it takes a hell of a hoof to be able to get the ball down there, doesn't it? Or am I imagining it?
Yeah, I wouldn't drop him. Although Leno came in against, God, who was it? Villa, and played brilliantly. I wouldn't drop him. Yes, he's having, let's be honest, Ramsdale, he's having a bit of a dip, 100%. But, form is temporary, class is permanent, as they say. And maybe he just needs a little bit of form to change. Everyone's noticed that he's not playing as he did. But, I saw a video of him when we scored, I think, the penalty, I can't remember one of the goals, and winding up the Chelsea fans, which is absolutely brilliant. No, I love that from him. But for me, I wouldn't drop him. Dropping a goalkeeper is a big call. And I don't think you should do that. I mean, yes, Leno is leaving in the summer, 100%. I'll be happy if we get like 15 to 20 million for him, and it'd be great. But yeah, I wouldn't drop him. I'd play him. Sometimes you've got to play him into form, which is brilliant. See, that's the video I'm talking about. Him just waving to the Chelsea fans. Fuck you, Chelsea. Brilliant. But yeah, for me, no, he's our number one goalkeeper, and he does start until he absolutely is atrocious, which he's not, because he's still making them a few saves. But yeah, no, he starts.
John?
No, just like Karl, I wouldn't drop him. I think for his save percentage has gone down, but I would also argue the defence in front of him and midfield has gotten weaker in the last few games, which is probably giving him a bit more nerves and jitters. Maybe he's having like flashbacks to some of the clubs he's been at before.
Yes. Well, I got you, John. One from formerly Noza. Now Man United have a new manager. Would Man United turn up? Will Man United turn up on Saturday?
I don't think the fact Ten Hag is been officially announced is going to change anything. Everyone knew who was getting the job. If you're a Man United player and a professional, the fact you got humped by Liverpool, who you fucking hate the way we do, hate that lot, and the fact that you're about to play Arsenal and you can, screw over Arsenal, which will cheer you up, that should be all the motivation you need. I don't think the manager announcement will make any difference at all. It's more on the players and whether they actually want to turn up or not.
Good. I'm just replying to Sean. She's going to go and have a look at the new Vauxhall Astras. Have you seen them? Very nice cars.
She's a bit reckless, isn't she? Getting the car.
She had the Golf. She had it 3.5 years now. Getting rid of it. But you can't get a new Golf in this country because they're all scumbags. Yes, Karl, did you want to answer that one? Are Man United going to turn up?
Of course they're going to. Let's be honest.
You say, of course. Have you not seen them play this season?
No, this is Arsenal away. They want to try and rub it in our faces. Liverpool are a different breed. Hands down, I think Liverpool are the best team in the world at the moment. They're phenomenal. They actually are.
Man United could have taken Liverpool to The Hague for what they did to them at the weekend.
Yeah, the goals that Liverpool score are just phenomenal. They are so good. They really are. But sadly, and I hate saying it, this is Arsenal. And the Arsenal that played against Chelsea, that's the Arsenal you want to turn up. You don't want the Arsenal that played against Southampton and Palace and Brighton to turn up. But there has to be that belief in our minds that this is the Man United of old. So can't play the Man United that played against Liverpool. We need to play the Man United of old and play that just that little bit better. There's going to be shithousery. If McTominay comes back in, there's shithousery because I flipping hate him. Bruno Fernandes is exactly the same. It's just what he does. Whether Varane comes back or not, I mean, Varane is not the Varane of old, but, he's still Varane, and that's what he does. And especially with Ronaldo as well, with, no one likes what he's gone through, and thoughts and prayers go out to him. But if he comes back with a point to prove, Ronaldo can be dangerous on his day. So it just all depends on who may United bring down to London. But do you know what? We have the beating of them. We can beat them, and we should beat them. And come 2:30 on Saturday, I hope that we have, we're winning 3-0 and we're calm.
I hope you're leaning into your mic going, I told you so, Daniel. I told you so.
I fucking told you. What I'm going to do.
Right, Thunder Road has got a question. John, have Karl and John ever met in person?
We have not. It's a bit like I'm trying to think. This happened in a few films and TV shows, but if you meet the same version of yourself from another reality and you have physical contact, every single multiverse will explode. But basically, although me and Karl aren't the same person, we have so much football knowledge between us that if you put that amount of knowledge in the same space, every woman around will just have an orgasm and it just causes chaos. So it's just,
just look at our beards. Like, we're beard brothers. That's all it is. No, we haven't, have we? I think I've met Chris, Jace, Danny, Femi, who else have I met? Chimp, Simon.
Did you meet OG when he came over, or were you working? I can't remember.
No, I didn't meet OG. Met Dom.
Yeah.
I have met Andrew. I met Dave. I love Dave. He's such a God. When I met him, I was in awe of him, genuine awe of him. So yeah, I've met everyone from AEW apart from you, John. I've met Josh, met Ellis.
Fuck Ellis.
Yeah, fuck Ellis. Fuck Ellis. But yeah, so yeah, I kind of met everyone apart from you, John. So yeah, we're gonna have to next season coming down for a game, definitely.
Yeah, I've just the last few years I've been so busy with work, but now I've changed job. I'm like, I might actually be able to start going to games again. And also, I'm really lazy because Danny is actually not far up the road from me, so I should go and annoy him at some point.
Well, you can drive, John, and I can get a season ticket, and then whoever comes with me gets in for free. So
I've even met flipping Jeff.
Yeah, there we go. Oh, the mysterious Jeff.
Jeff Arsenal.
The man with no face.
I've met Jeff. That was funny because we all met in Pirate Corner in King's Cross. Like there's a whole of ABW was just sitting there, and I walked in after work, and literally, I think that's the first time I ever met. I'm sure it's the first time I ever met Chris as well. And I think Chris stood up. I was like, "Oh fuck me, you already are short, aren't you?" God, yeah, but yeah, definitely we need to do like a big meetup, definitely.
Yeah.
Well, now COVID's all out of the way. Hopefully, restrictions-wise, I think we can all. I don't know why we haven't got a picture of Femi in that one, but there was definitely pictures with Femi.
Yeah, me and you took a picture of Femi the day we met.
Yeah, and I was very fucking cold that day, and no one laughed at my scarf. Poor old Karl, he's 8'5", and he didn't know whether to kneel down, stand behind, sit on my lap, or squat. He needed a hand getting back up after that. Yeah, so yeah, it's always good when we all meet, and hopefully we'll be able to do that again soon. Right, question, Karl, have we seen enough to think about keeping Xhaka?
I would keep him anyway. Like John listed a load of his attributes, and I think, when we talk about the reason why we keep Lacazette, because we wanted him to help the youngsters, because Lacazette I think is brilliant for the youngsters. It's just that his footballing ability is not what we require at Arsenal at the moment. Granit Xhaka is a leader. He would still be our captain if he didn't have that meltdown against Crystal Palace when he, threw fuck you to the fans. But for every reckless challenge you get or stupid pass you get from Granit Xhaka, you get a performance like he did yesterday. And I think, I don't know if anyone's seen the interview that he done. I can't remember who it was with. And all these thoughts and feelings like, well, and every time you see a tackle, and I'm sure even yesterday, John, with Mason Mount, you saw that tackle, and in your head, I guarantee you thought, if that was Granit, that would be a red card.
Oh yeah,
you just can't help but think that. And the sad thing is, for a fact, if it probably was Granit Xhaka, that would have gone to VAR, and the referee would have gone to have a look at it because it was studs up mid. But because it's Mason Mount, England, Dahlia, I still remember. Sorry, going on topic. I still remember the Harry Kane challenge on Robson at the Tottenham ground. How that wasn't a red card, God only knows. But it's Harry Kane, it's the darling, and I think that Granit Xhaka brings a lot more to the team than people think. Football, you can do the eye test and have a look and think, do you know what? Yeah, sometimes he does some shit things, but sometimes football's not only played on the pitch, it's behind the scenes. You don't see what he does on the training ground when he's in the gym with the youngsters, talking to them, saying that. And I think I would keep Granit Xhaka. What is he, 28, 29? 29 maybe, I think
29 now, yeah.
So has he got 2 more seasons left in him? Do you get someone else in to be his understudy and then, learn from him and then become the new Granit Xhaka? That's what I'd like to see. But as much as Granit Xhaka pisses me off sometimes, and let's be honest, he does annoy all of us, I wouldn't want to see him leave this season.
Karl? John?
You already know, because I love Granit. So
and me.
I keep him forever. But no, I like all the things Karl said. I think he's great. I get that why people don't like him. He is very Marmite in that sense. Do I think we could get a player who's better than him? Yes. I do think there are midfielders who are better than him. But would I get rid of him? No. Because we'll either be in Europa League or Champions League come the end of the season. We need depth and quality. He's always available. He hardly ever picks up injuries. He's had one big injury since he's been the whole time at Arsenal. There's a reason every single manager who's been at Arsenal since he's been there has picked him week in, week out. He's consistent. Yes, he makes mistakes and errors. I understand that. But yeah, I'd keep him all day long. Can we get a better player? Yeah, absolutely. We can go and get a better player, but that's no reason to get rid of him. The only reason I would sell Xhaka is if Roma came back in for him in the summer, and I would say to Roma and Mourinho, I'd say, if you want Granit, we're taking Tammy Abraham. Otherwise, fuck off. That would be it. End of conversation. It's the only way I would let Xhaka go. Yeah.
If only. He's coming back one day. Sai says, Karl, are we selling Holding or Saliba? Either, neither, neither, both.
I think Rob Holding will go. I think Saliba will come back in, but I do think Rob Holding will go. Although my mind triggered today thinking about the homegrown quota, and with us losing Eddie and losing, so Bellerin's going to go. We know that Eddie's going to go. If we lose Holding. Who else? Reece. I know he's not there at the moment, but Reece Nelson, he's not pulling up trees in Holland, so he probably won't be back. We really do need to look at the homegrown quota. We have to look at that. So, I know there's talks about, Dominic Calvert-Lewin coming in. And, would it be a bad shot because of obviously the English quota as well, that we need that. But I think that is a thing that we have to look at, because at the moment, I think we're doing it now. We don't get it wrong. We have got, Saka, Smith Rowe, Ramsdale, Ben White. But I think isn't it 7 now or 8 players you need? I can't remember the actual number, but I'm sure it's 7 or 8 players. And we just need to make sure that we have enough players to meet that quota.
John?
I'm guessing we will sell one. I would, again, nothing personal against the player. I think he's a really good squad player. Holding would be the one I'd rather sell. Saliba's obviously got the highest ceiling and fits our style of play better, but it will most likely depend on how Saliba feels and if he wants guarantees of first team football. If he wants that, then he's not going to have it at Arsenal because you're going to have competition. You've got Gabriel and Ben White ahead of you at the moment. He's obviously had a very good season for Marseille, and maybe you can come in and displace them. But if he wants guaranteed starting, like Karl said, World Cup coming up, then maybe Marseille come in with a big bid for him. But yeah, we'll see. But I would guess that one of them will go, not both.
Okay, we've got a couple more questions. Callum's asked 1 million questions, most not relevant, so we're going to pick this one. Do you think Unai Emery could win the Champions League, Karl, and then John?
Sadly, I think Liverpool are too strong for either. But I would love to. I would love to see it. The fact that they dispatched of Bayern Munich so brilliantly, I'm very happy about, and I would love to see Unai Emery lift it. He's not a bad manager. He just wasn't the manager for Arsenal. And I think that's all it was. But sadly, I think Liverpool are far too strong for any team in the Champions League. And I think it's theirs to lose, in my opinion.
John?
I think he can do it. If have they got? Is it Liverpool next round? I can't remember.
Yeah, they've got Liverpool.
It is. Yeah. The problem is the fact it's over 2 legs. If they had them in the final, if they've got them in the final, then I would give them more of a chance in a one-off game because I feel like Emery's kind of the master of that kind of sort of thing. But hey, look, you never know. They're a tough team to break down, and they break on people brilliantly. And the one thing Liverpool do is they leave space at the back. They will leave space at the back, so it's there to be exploited. I hope he does, because like Karl said, I took the piss out of him when he was at Arsenal, and the football was miserable to watch. But he isn't a bad manager. He's a very good manager, and Karl put it perfectly. He was just he's a good manager, just went to the club at the wrong time, and that's all it is.
I think he's won stuff at every club he's been at, apart from Arsenal and that short stint in Russia.
Yeah. So he's a great manager. He's got a great record in Europe. I hope he does. I mean, basically any of the teams that are in it, if they win it, I don't care as long as it's not Liverpool. Like even Man City could win it. I couldn't care less because they're not a real club. Well, I mean, they're not the Man City of old. They're not the Man City from the 1960s or whatever. Yeah, Man City, Real Madrid, Villarreal. Whoever wants to win it, that's fine. Just not Liverpool. Fucking Klopp smiling does my head.
Yeah, my mum doesn't like him. She gives him the willies. Final question, Karl, and then John from Chirobi on Twitch says, do we offer Eddie another stint come this summer, as in contract? I would have immediately said no before the Chelsea away match. Yeah, so has he shown enough in that Chelsea game, Karl, to warrant another contract? In fact, it's been on the table for ages.
I was just going to say that the contract's on the table for him to sign. Eddie is at the age now, he wants to play football. He's 21, 22, something along them lines. He wants to play football. He wants to break into the England squad. Harry Kane is in his late 20s, early 30s. So he's not going to be around forever. Now, if, he's done it at under 21 level, if he wants to get into the England squad, he has to be playing regularly. He has to. At Arsenal, he's not doing that. He hasn't done it. Arteta's seen something in him. That's the reason why he recalled him back from Leeds, and obviously the reason why he stuck around and wants to offer him that contract. But I don't wrong Eddie Nketiah for wanting to leave to play football, because ultimately that's his job. He just wants to go out there every week and kick a football. He doesn't want to be riding the bench, coming on for 10 minutes here, 5 minutes here. Like, that's not what he wants to do. So would I keep him as a backup striker? The thing is, sentiment is a lovely thing. And I think, I don't want to make decisions of one performance, because we've seen Eddie Nketiah play and he's had some shocking performances. But would I keep him around? Like, you look at Eddie Nketiah and you think, is Balogun better than Eddie Nketiah? He's had half a season out on loan. Does Balogun go out on loan again? Who knows? People much smarter and more paid than us will make that decision. But I personally wouldn't keep Eddie Nketiah. I wouldn't, because if he was going to be our starting striker, he would have been that by now. And for some reason, Arteta has played Lacazette over Nketiah, so he can't have been that good. So, yeah, let Eddie go. Let him go. Let him flourish somewhere else.
John?
I would give him a contract on the basis that you can then sell him in a year's time and not lose money. I mean, we'd get whatever the compensation fee is, unless he went abroad, I think it is. So if he went to another English club, we would get the academy compensation fee. The other reason why I would consider keeping him, and these are all like variables, so it depends on loads of things that happen. If we bring in 2 strikers, great. But if we don't keep Lacazette, which I don't think we're going to do, we bring in 2 strikers, but Pepe also leaves, which is a possibility. I think Eddie's flexibility and the fact that he can play wide as well is valuable. And Balogun, for me, needs another loan before he can start getting into the Premier League team. So I would consider keeping him. But yeah, it depends. Like if he goes and he decides now I want to play regularly and everything, then fair enough. And thank you for the goals you've done and being, really good at the academy level and fucking scoring 2 against Chelsea. I will never forget him for that.
Yeah, I tend to agree. He's had enough time. He's 23 on the 30th of May, and so he has had it 300 and so it's 420 minutes this season, which isn't really enough. But in previous times, he's shown that he can do it against the League Cup games and European games. So if we're in the Europa League next season, possibly keep him because
it also depends on if they do bring in 2 strikers, but it depends on what the type of striker the second one is. Because I could see us going for like an out-and-out striker and then a guy who can play anywhere across the front 3, like can play as a striker or a false 9, but also play as a wide man, that sort of thing. And
like Alba, who we letting go for free.
Yeah.
All right, Karl, we're all done.
Oh, good. The pirate didn't turn up, did he? No.
He's still on that
typical
bloody
Chris.
call.
Do you remember? I know. Or he's straightening his hair. One of the two. No, who knows?
You know why? I'm going to give him some stick now. He asked to come on a podcast after we lost our 3rd game. Yeah. That's when he asked to come on. We win last night. He's got a meeting.
Not interested.
Yeah.
Very suspicious. Yeah.
Very sus. You're very sus.
He'll be back if we lose to United.
Oh, yeah. He'll be straight on there.
Oh god, but no, yeah, we love Chris Carpenter. He's absolutely hilarious. Danny, you stepped in because you didn't want to be in, but this is your podcast, and thank you for letting me on and talk all good things Arsenal. John, ever the optimist. Like sometimes I do see stuff and I think, no, John, but then I think, fuck me, he's chatting sense. He knows his shit. Like, oh, God,
hey, look, I held fire last night in our group chat. I was like, I've got an assessment of 2 players I want to say, but I'm going to wait until the final whistle. So it's like, I'm not going to jinx it just in case. And then the final whistle went, I was like, Xhaka and Elneny were amazing. And me and Karl were thinking exactly the same thing, but neither of us wanted to say it just in case.
No, sometimes, just in case that.
Yeah. Sometimes
you say Xhaka's brilliant. You say Xhaka's brilliant, and then all of a sudden, 2-footed challenge. What the fuck are you doing?
Yeah. Sometimes I keep it in, but it's my own fault. I look on Twitter too much and I see all the negativity, and I'm like, just be positive. Try and just cheer the team on. Just keep it going. And look, we're in a great position now, all in our hands. So just keep it going, boys.
We have to. 3 points against Man United will be lovely, and we will be back on tomorrow with a preview show with Danny. And then the after show on Saturday, which I will jump on, Danny, because I don't think I've got anything planned until the evening. So yes, this has been a Bergkamp Wonderland, an Arsenal podcast, talking all good things Arsenal. Come on, Arsenal! We will beat Man United on Saturday. We will get top 4, and Chris Carpenter might make an appearance at some point towards the end of this season. So everyone, thank you very much, and goodbye. And always remember. #fuck Alice.